Okay, so this is 3-2 negative exponents. And this is pretty simple if you got what we did yesterday. Um, just the first thing you need to know when doing negative exponents is, first of all, when you see a negative exponent, it doesn't necessarily mean a negative number. So if we have x negative 1, that's not a negative number. Well, I don't think that's a negative number. Well, it can or it cannot. It may be a negative number, but it doesn't have to be one. So first of all, what is a negative exponent? First of all, a negative exponent is you just take the reciprocal, and the reciprocal is just the opposite, flipped, by the way. So this is actually equal to 1 over x to the first. You just flip it, because this is just x, the negative 1 over 1. You flip it, you flip these two, and you get 1 over x to the negative 1. And then you just flip the sign, and then you get it's just equal to 1 over x, because x to the first, any number to 1 is itself. So the correct answer to this would be 1 over x. And you will see this on the homework. So let's actually do a few practice problems with this. So what is y to the negative 4? If you said 1 over y to the 4th, you'd be correct. So this is pretty simple stuff. It's really simple. You just flip the thing, and then it's really simple. And I think, I don't think we need to even talk about it more. Today's homework, I haven't made it yet, but it's probably going to be only 5 questions. This doesn't really require you to do much. Actually, actually we'll do some other stuff too. Do one with actual numbers. What is 2 to the negative 3rd? Feel free to use a calculator, or I recommend using a scratch paper for this, but you can obviously use a calculator if you want. Definitely recommend using a piece of scratch paper for this, just because this is what you know instead of what the calculator knows. You answered 1/8, you'd be correct. This is equal to 1 over 2 to the 3rd, positive 3. And if we simplify 2 to the 3rd, as we remember, x to the n is just x times. So this is equal to 1 over 2 times 2 times 2. 3 2's right here. And 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So the correct answer is 1/8. Just have 0.125, but as I said, in algebra, you definitely want to stick to fractions. It will be much easier to manipulate and do stuff with than fractions. Next question we have is, let's do, what is 1 over x to the negative 3? You answered x to the 3rd, you'd be correct. As I said, if you have a negative exponent, then you just flip it. It doesn't necessarily mean a negative number, so you just flip the thing, and when you flip it, you get x to the negative 3rd over 1. And after you flip it, you flip the sign, so just x to the 3rd, and x to the third over 1 is just x to the third. So that's your answer. So let's do one more problem before we end. Let's do this mark 2. Let's do this problem. Let's do y to the -4 minus 5. What is this equal to? Simplify to an equation, to an expression that has no negative exponents, because that's how it will be worded on a test, I think. Yeah. You got the answer 1 over y to the 9th, you'd be correct. This is equal to y to the -9. -4 minus 5 is -9. And all you need to do when you have a negative exponent is just flip it, and you get 1 over y to the 9th. Actually, we're there. Never mind. 1 over y to the 9th, 1 over y to the 9th. That's the correct answer. It's really simple. As I said, I did this during yesterday's class, but if you can do x squared, you can do 2 squared. It's literally the same thing. X is just a variable, 2 is a number. They're the same thing. X squared is equal to x times x. 2 squared is equal to 2 times 2. You should know this if you know what x is. As we mentioned in the first unit, x is a very, very popular and probably the most important variable in algebra. Know what this is. You should know what this is. I'm gonna put some number problems too. So problems with numbers where it requires you to solve in the homework. So you'll have. Other than that, that's all you need to know. And if any questions, if you have any questions, just feel free to pop in and just say any questions you have, or like take a screenshot or something, and then send it over, and I'll give you a just answer your question as soon as I can. Yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Do the homework it's due on Friday, and we have a test on Friday as well as usual. I'll see you tomorrow then.